Okay, great seeing everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Started on the week, be our first practice day. We're good meetings. We're off to a good start. We're excited about having a great day today. What questions do you have?
When you're going against Patrick Mahomes, what kind of stands out as far as the biggest challenge when addressing kind of concerns going against?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to pick one. The biggest challenge versus Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I think it's the whole package. Everything he does, he's a playmaker. He runs that offense. He is the center of the offense in every way. Makes all the calls, organizes them, creates. Obviously, plays. He's a big challenge.
Coach, I know you and Coach Reid have a long relationship. When it comes to this week and you're playing each other and so much on the line, do you just cut things off ahead of time, or what's it like when you're not playing them compared to this circumstance?
Yeah, I mean, we're both, like all coaches, you're kind of wrapped up in your own team, right, Jerry? I mean, it's not like we're talking every week or anything like that. So it's really not that, it's no different in that sense. Just we're playing each other at this point in time.
With so much on the line, I mean, is this, I don't know if it's a dream, but is this something that you're looking forward to? Is it like sort of a mentor, based on the mentor?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I look back to those years, and you think about all the great coaches that were on that staff, the staff that Andy assembled and mentored, as you said, and taught us all so much. We were a close group of guys, you know, kind of a staff that loved each other. You know, I see a lot of that on this staff too, you know, and you know, I can give you all the names. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo is on their staff now. He was a big part of that. We became close friends, and Dave Tobe and Tom Melvin, but also all the other guys, you know, Ron Rivera and Brad Childress and Leslie Frazier and Pat Shermer. You know, you go down the line. So many amazing coaches.
The Chiefs played 6 straight AFC Championship games. Does that experience mean anything as far as going to this game, or is this a new year, new teams, etc.?
Oh, I'm sure it's very valuable for them. I mean, they've been in this situation, you know, many times, and they played in this game. So I think they're a very experienced team. You know, they're a hardened team. They've been through a lot, and I'm sure that experience always is helpful.
John, do you think the run that you guys have had to go through, the number of teams the winning teams, the playoff teams, do you think that has given you the experience you need going in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think all those things forge you as a team. You get to this point, teams are forged. You know, they've been through a lot. You know, our story, our journey is our journey, right? And it's unique. It's no different than human beings or individuals. You know, everybody's on their own unique path, and our path is our path. And we've had, you know, a lot of short weeks, a lot of quick turnarounds, a lot of tough teams we've played, a lot of physical ball games, teams that were playing for a lot. That's been our journey this year. So that's how we've been forged for this moment.
John, what led to the creation of the internship program back in 2014 that ended up bringing Mike McDonald here? And how did that come to be? What was the inspiration for that? And has it worked out as well as you hoped?
Yeah, it's worked out. I mean, it's worked out just with those guys, obviously, that are here on the staff now, but also a number of other guys and gals that are here that are still here coaching or that have gone other places and coached. It was a hugely successful idea that we had way back when. We kind of came up with it together, I would say. A lot of guys like Dan Parsons were involved in that. I think back to Matt Weiss was involved in that, other coaches. And then Ozzie and Eric were a big part of that. Scott Cohen's been a big part of that from the beginning. And the opportunity to give young people an opportunity, you know, and go out and try to find the very best people, the most deserving candidates that you could find, you know, that we could, or that are working in football somewhere. So try to keep it going. We've got some great young people right now in that program.
John, with you know the goal of getting the Super Bowl just one game away, you know, you've been in this spot before with teams. What do you think? What would you say the biggest, I guess, thing is this week to keep the mindset and the mentality like it has been all season and not, you know, get too high?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is always the biggest thing. It's you want to go play well. You know, it's one game. It's like the Hoosiers movie, right? I mean, have you seen that movie, Sean? You know, like, and I got to say it to our team because I'll bet our players haven't seen it. You know, if I gave them that reference, I mean, you know, 10 feet high. You know, the free throw line is it 10 feet? You know, so it's 100 yards long and 53 1/3 yards wide. The field doesn't change. The hash marks are on the same spot. So, really, our guys understand that. You know, they've understood that all year. your focus is always going to be on just playing your best football game and all the details that go into that, one play at a time. That's what my mom always says, so I'll go with that advice.
John, when you look back on Roquan Smith has to not only be like a great player himself, but kind of raise the level of teammates around him, is that a quality that you all saw in him before you made a trade, and was that quality part of like what you wanted and part of the reason why you went and got him?
Yeah, I mean, our scouts do a great job. I think of Joe Ortiz going back and scouting Roquan back at Georgia. Those are all in the reports. So you knew what kind of a guy you were getting for sure. Then you saw him at Chicago and how he conducted himself and how he played. But you never know until a guy's here exactly how it's going to fit in your chemistry. And it's definitely been right. It's definitely been a perfect fit, perfect match. He's just been himself. And, he was always a Raven. He just didn't know until he got here, I guess, to quote the great Steve Smith. So it's been a great fit. I think he does make everybody around him better, to your point. The greatest players tend to do that, right?
Back when Isaiah, or when Mark got hurt, there were folks questioning if that would hurt you guys a lot offensively. In the building, what were you guys expecting out of Isaiah in terms of replacing what Mark does for you guys? And has he met those expectations? Has he exceeded them?
Yeah, I mean, we said it then. If you go back and look, I think you asked me this question back then, and it's the same answer as I gave you then. We expect Isaiah to step right in and play at a high level. And we'd see him in practice. We knew what he was capable of doing. And then everybody else picks up, and picks up a little more right along the way. But I don't believe anybody's surprised by how well Isaiah's played. But you're happy when you see it. You want to see it happen and actualize. So to see that happen has been great.
When you guys drafted Lamar, he had this incredible speed, still does. As his body has changed, as his role in this offense has changed, what are the other kind of skills that he has as a runner that have made him still, among the best guys and kind of break out into that field?
Well, I mean, I think anybody could probably answer that question who's watched him play, so he's hard to tackle. I mean, to me, I guess the greatest compliment would be being hard to tackle. I can think back when I was a kid, I read the Woody Hayes book, and Woody Hayes talked about, you could tell what a great running back looked like carrying the ball, say, by how many tackles people miss trying to tackle him. I think that's true for wide receivers, run after the catch. It's true for, quarterbacks on scrambles. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best at making tacklers miss. So Lamar's unique that way. He's one of the best I've ever seen, obviously, anybody's ever seen. So he's a tough tackle.
John, Patrick Queen had said a couple weeks ago, like, some of these teams want to play basketball on grass. We're going to hit. We want to hit. The emphasis being on physical. Kyle Hamilton has really developed a physical player. When he was drafted, a lot of people talked about his length and to some extent his physicality. What's impressed you about the way he plays physically?
Well, I would say just what you're saying, Bo. I mean, he's a physical player. He's a very good tackler. That tackle on the screen on the left side last week where he came up and fronted up the ball carrier, just squared him right up, kind of chest to chest almost, and then drove him back. Probably epitomizes that. He's a hitter. He shows up where it's required to show up to make the play, and he does it. He does it. Kind of a bad attitude, so to speak. So that's how you want to see guys play, and I think we were hoping to get that. You always hope to get that from all your players, and we got a lot of guys who play like that, and Kyle's one of them.
John, we saw in the second half, you guys started to lean on Lamar and his legs a lot more. He's so efficient in those quarterback design run plays. Is it a challenge to kind of not call those plays maybe more often to try to, keep him upright and allow him to be more balanced as a quarterback?
I think right now everybody's focus is on just putting the best team out there we can, the most explosive offense we can, the best plays we can, really by whatever means necessary. That's what our thought is on that.
For Coach, last one.
John, when Zay Flowers was coming out there, if there was a question, it was about his size. Why was that not an issue for you guys when you were scouting?
Well, I mean, everything's an issue. You look at everything for sure, Jeff. But with Zay, you just look at the tape. I mean, we always believe that tape is the king. If you want to evaluate a football player, start with watching him play football. And so you watch Zay play football. He played really good. He made catches. He made people miss. Then you want to say, okay, is this going to translate? Well, how do you think this is going to translate to the NFL? That's a little more of a, educated kind of a guess that you have to make, so to speak. But we just felt like he had all the other intangibles in terms of mindset and attitude and smart and competitive and hard worker, love football, all those kind of things that made you feel like that amazing skill set was going to transfer, and that really was what it did it for us.